Good evening. Thanks for joining me this Saturday on 7Edition. I'm Shafika Razali and these are the headlines. Historic voting bill, if approved, will see additional 3.8 million voters in GE15. PM assures plan to bring workers from Africa is still a proposal. And US-China trade talks back on track. Good evening. The historic voting bill to amend the federal constitution and lowering the voting age from 21 to 18 will allow more than 50% of Malaysians to vote in the next general election. As such, Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Datuk Liew Viu Keong, urged all opposition MPs to back and participate in the bill, which will be tabled in the upcoming Dewan Rakyat sitting starting July 1st. Datuk Liew described the bill as the single most important historical development in the country post-Merdeka. If the bill is approved, it would see an additional 3.8 million voters eligible to vote in the next general election. And this will bring the total number of eligible voters to 18.8 million if the general election will be held in 2023. With Pakatan Harapan only having 148 MPs, it needs another 9 votes from the opposition to pass the bill. Lowering the voting age would require an amendment to the federal constitution, which demands a 2/3 majority vote by MPs in the Dewan Rakyat. At the moment, Malaysia and Singapore are the only ASEAN countries which have yet to lower the voting age to 18. It was chaos as the Putrajaya and Selangor immigration officers conducted a raid at Vice Dens in Puchong, Selangor. Many of the women working as guest relation officers, GROs, at an entertainment centre ran in all directions but were eventually detained. The operation also came across another massage parlour suspected of hiring foreigners to provide gay sex services. In the commotion at 10:30 p.m, some of the women fell while making a run for it, while others were desperate enough to struggle to make an escape. The raid was conducted by a team of enforcement officers from the Immigration Department's Special Operation Tactical Team, PASTAC, together with officers from the Selangor Immigration Department. Also raided was a massage parlour suspected of employing foreign GROs. At another massage parlour, 8 Vietnamese men believed to be male masseuses were detained on suspicion of providing gay sex services. Found on the premises were condoms and lubricants allegedly used for those services. In total, 40 Vietnamese and Indonesian women were detained, including an underage teenager. Also detained were 3 Bangladeshi men working at the entertainment centre, as well as 6 local men believed to be the women's caretakers. Those detained will be investigated under the Immigration Act for not having proper documents, overstaying and violating the terms of their stay. Police are still investigating and collecting information related to the sex video allegedly involving Economic Affairs Minister Datuk Sri Muhammad Azmin Ali. Inspector General of Police Datuk Sri Abdul Hamid Bado said they were trying to solve the case as soon as possible, but it cannot be rushed as various aspects have to be investigated carefully. He added that there was no time limit set for the case as they were still collecting evidence.
Proses kesihatan tu memang berjalan ya. Saya tidak beberapa kali dah saya jelaskan bahawa saya tidak memberikan apa-apa tekanan kepada mereka. Banyak aspek yang hendak disiasat. Jadi mereka tak boleh membuat kerja tu tergesa-gesa. So, satu persatu perkara tu akan disiasat. So itu sajalah perkembangannya. Masih dalam siasatan dan saya tidak memberikan apa-apa tekanan kepada mereka. Mereka menjalankan tugasnya mengikut SOP dan mendapat pandangan dan guide daripada pejabat Keluar Negara.
Recently, Santubong PKR Youth Chief Haziq Abdullah Abdul Aziz made headlines after admitting that he was one of the two men in a viral sex video that also implicated Datuk Sri Azmin. The minister, however, has denied the allegations and described the clip as the work of people with sinister conspiracy to tarnish his image. No legal action will be taken against a teacher who slapped a secondary school student in Kuantan after the student's parents and the teacher apologized to one another. Peace was made after all involved parties met at the Kuantan District Education Office this morning. Kuantan District Education Officer Muhammad Razali Mustafa confirmed that both parties stepped forward to apologize, while a parent of the student has confirmed withdrawing a police report made on Tuesday. The incident began when the secondary school teacher allegedly slapped the Form 4 student over homework given by the teacher. The Economic Affairs Ministry has yet to decide on the fate of loss-making Malaysia Airlines Berhad MAS, despite talks of the government's intention to sell the ailing national carrier. Its Minister Datuk Sri Muhammad Azmin Ali, however, assured that MAS's parent company, Khazanah Nasional Berhad, is exploring all avenues in a bid to help the airline return to profitability. Datuk Sri Azmin said Khazanah, which comes under the purview of his ministry, is conducting further studies on the options available, including proposals to sell the national airline.
Belum. In fact, this matter has been discussed briefly in the last board meeting of Khazanah. But when is the last board? Not the last meeting, but the previous meeting. That was late last year. So this matter was raised, but we wanted Khazanah to study further about these options and see what is the best options to make sure that the airline will still remain viable for us to continue.
He was asked to respond to Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamed's recent remark that the government was willing to consider selling MAS if there is a good offer for the company. However, the Premier said any such sale must allow MAS to retain its identity as a national carrier. Datuk Sri Azmin also revealed that no time frame has been set to announce a new turnaround plan for MAS. The airline has been struggling to regain its footing after suffering twin air disasters in 2014. Flight MH370 went missing while heading to Beijing and remains lost to date, while flight MH17 was shot down over Ukraine, where an insurgency was taking place. 3 Penang-based media associations were among various organizations which have been told to contact the Finance Ministry and return the money received from the 1MDB fund. Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng said each media association had received 50,000 ringgit from the Sovereign Investment Fund.
Semua ini adalah apa yang kita sebut akaun tebus balik. Kita dah tebus balik, recovery account untuk tebus balik. Yang sama ada mereka disiasat atau tidak, itu bukan bidang kuasa saya, tentu terpulang kepada SPRM. Tapi sekiranya ada pulang wang, itu akan menunjukkan keikhlasan.
Lim, who is also Bagan MP, was responding to statements by Penang-based journalists' unions, including the Penang Press Club, that it had received money in 2013 from the mysterious One Malaysia Penang Welfare Club in the run-up to the 13th general election. The Journalists' Union of North Malaya and Penang Chinese Newspaper Reporters and Photographers Association were the other two journalists' groups said to have received the money. Lim said the media associations claimed they did not know the source of the money, but that they need to return it to the government after knowing the truth. Newly appointed Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC Chief Commissioner Latifah Koya today said her focus since taking office is to combat corruption and not the details of her uniform. She admitted that she is now learning about rank badges, bar ribbons and uniforms since taking office. In a statement, Latifah said the bar ribbons on her uniform must not be confused with medals or honorary titles awarded by the palaces, whether at the federal or state levels. The bar ribbon was pinned based on standing order of the MACC Chief Commissioner. Although essentially correct and acceptable, she said there were some minor discrepancies in the bar ribbons which have since been rectified. The MACC chief was responding to UMNO Supreme Council member Datuk Lokman Nur Adam, who claimed she received many awards and medals despite serving in the post for less than a month. The idea of recruiting workers from African countries for the local plantation sector is still at a proposal stage. Commenting on the government's plan to consider the move in a bid to accommodate requirements in the plantation sector, Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad assured that no final decision has been made on the matter so far.
Saya berpendapat bahawa orang di Malaysia ni ramai. Tak payahlah bawa masuk orang asing. Tapi orang Malaysia tak mau kerja. Tak mau kerja, kita bagi semua ke orang lain lah.
Pemilihan warga Afrika tu dilihat macam memberi persepsi.
Kita belum buat pemilihan apapun.
Tapi setakat cadangan baru lah itu.
Cadangan aja.
Tun Dr. Mahathir, who is the Member of Parliament for Langkawi, said this after attending a Hari Raya Aidilfitri open house in Kuah in his constituency today. Yesterday, Human Resources Minister M. Kulasegaran said foreign workers from Vietnam and Indonesia no longer expressed interest to work in Malaysia's plantation sector, citing salary concerns. He also revealed that the ministry has engaged with the ambassadors of African nations recently to get the views of their respective governments on the matter. Meanwhile, the Premier said the government will come up with a plan to provide better housing for residents of the Bukit Malut squatter settlement in Langkawi. Tun Dr. Mahathir said the plan would not only give better comfort to the settlers, but would also resolve other social problems that cropped up due to the environment there. Earlier, Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail said the government would find a holistic approach to tackle the influx of immigrants and mushrooming of illegal settlements in Bukit Malut. This followed a news report which said that the Stilt House settlement, opened by Myanmar refugees in the 1980s, has since swelled and reportedly encroached into a nearby hillside and the Bukit Malut Mangrove Forest Reserve. The report also likened the illegal settlement to squatters in Sao Paulo, Brazil and Mexico City. When we return, a closer look at the 7th generation of the BMW 3 Series. Details next. Thanks for staying with us. The social security organisation SOCSO has reminded all self-employed taxi, e-hailing and bus drivers that they have until July 31st to register and made contributions under the Self-Employed Employment Injury Scheme (SEEIS). In an announcement, it said that enforcement action under the Self-Employment Social Security Scheme will begin from August 1st for those who have not complied. Failure to register for the drivers is an offence under Section 11 of the Self-Employment Social Security Act, and one can be fined not more than 10,000 ringgit or be jailed not more than 2 years or both if found guilty. Only 14,500 self-employed taxi, e-hailing and bus drivers have registered so far with SOCSO. These numbers, however, are much lower compared to the estimated 200,000 e-hailing and taxi drivers, as well as 40,000 bus drivers in the country. Sea Life Malaysia is now officially open to the public. It is the newest marine attraction at the Legoland Malaysia Resort in Nusa Jaya, Johor. The interactive aquarium with Lego elements is also expected to help boost tourist arrivals in the state, especially during Visit Malaysia 2020 and Visit Johor 2020. The highlights of Sea Life Malaysia are the 13,000 marine life from 120 species, including sharks, seahorses and stingrays. The two-storey aquarium is also located next to the Legoland theme park.
And Sea Life dia memaparkan konsep pembelajaran dalam cara yang sungguh I would say in a fun learning environment. And hari ini kita secara official kita buka Sea Life. Jadi kita akan menyumbang kepada sebagai ikon pelancongan yang utama di Malaysia dan di Johor. Yeah.
The aquarium has 11 zones, each featuring different habitats for its sea life, where visitors can touch and view the sea creatures up close.
Hari ini kita orang datang bawa anak-anak, bawa diorang tengok ikan, belajar jenis-jenis ikan, luangkan masa lah dengan diorang. Sebab diorang mau cuti kan, macam mana nak. Tu bawa diorang jalan-jalan lah.
Saya datang bersama anak-anak tengok Sea Life. Sebetulnya kita orang dah memang annual pass. So maknanya tapi berkesempatan bawa hari inilah nak tengok, so tak payah pergi jauh-jauh lah.
The aquarium's opening ceremony was officiated by Johor Tourism, Women, Family and Community Development Committee Chairman Liu Chai Tung. Also present at the event was Legoland Malaysia Resort General Manager Kurt Stocks. Now let's move on to our daily segment Clickbait, where we take a look at what's trending and making rounds in the cyber world today. Social media is commonly used as a tool for individuals to promote their business. If you didn't know, the live function on Facebook or Instagram is an advantage for business owners to sell their products and at the same time is engaging with their followers and potential customers. However, some have resorted to trickery to promote their business, and a perfect example of this occurred recently when a woman presumed to be a business owner had a Facebook live session with her followers. Here's the story. In the 20-second video that has garnered over 355,000 views, the woman can be seen speaking non-stop while showing off stashes of 100 ringgit notes. Some gold bars can also be seen scattered all over the table in front of her. She then started to invite her followers to say hi to her during the Facebook live session, as she was going to do a special giveaway, which is the cash. But things turned south as she accidentally picked up two 100 ringgit notes that were attached to each other, with only one side of the note printed on. Following this, several netizens pointed out that using fake notes is illegal, as she can actually land herself in big trouble with the law. Others advised each other to be extra careful and not to believe such a show next time. Now, according to Hyperviral Malaysia, however, the video is actually from a blooper reel from a marketing agency, stressing that nobody will use real money during a live video for safety reasons. After the break, the advanced technology needed to enhance gameplay. We'll be right back. We're back with foreign news. US President Donald Trump and his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping struck a trade war ceasefire on Saturday as Washington vowed to hold off on further tariffs and declared trade negotiations with China back on track. This was agreed during a hotly awaited meeting between the two leaders on the sidelines of the G20 summit, which draws to a close on Saturday. All eyes at the G20 turned to a pivotal showdown between the two rivals that has huge implications for the global economy. The meeting kicked off in a positive tone, with Trump saying that Washington is open to a historic deal with Beijing.
I think this can be a very productive meeting, and I think we can go on to do something that truly will be monumental and great for both countries, and that's what I look forward to doing. And thank you very much for hosting us. We appreciate it. Thank you.
The US president also announced that American companies could continue to sell to the Chinese technology firm Huawei, which Washington has banned because of security concerns. But Trump said that dispute will be dealt with at the very end of trade talks. In the meantime, Russian President Vladimir Putin says his country will begin talks with the US over nuclear arms control, but it may not lead to an extension of the START 3 nuclear disarmament treaty. START 3 refers to a proposed agreement between the two nuclear powers for which negotiations broke down years ago. Intended as a successor to previous agreements, it would have required them to lower their numbers of deployed nuclear weapons. Now, on the climate deal, 19 members of the G20 without the US agreed on Saturday to the irreversibility of the Paris climate deal and pledged its full implementation after 2 days of talks. With this in place, French President Emmanuel Macron says that international leaders should go much further on the issue. Now it's time for our My Game On segment, bringing you the latest esports and gaming news. Advancing technology over the years have proven to be vital, with producing world-class performances expected in the esports industry. Professional gamers and streamers, however, still believe there is room for improvement to help further enhance and improve their gameplay. Wanizo Islam finds out more.
The future is now and it's here to stay. But it isn't that all perfect, especially in the industry of professional gaming. We still have lag, viruses, and many other issues such as heat that we need to deal with. So let's find out exactly what needs to be done in terms of software and hardware to help improve and enhance this industry. The computer gaming industry worldwide has seen tremendous upgrades over the years, with many gaming computers today being referred to as supercomputers for the masses. Improved technology has allowed for hardware upgrades that can process and render graphics on screen to look as realistic as the world around you. However, in order for hardware to function at optimal levels, software and programming are needed to run simultaneously to operate such a hardware.
I believe they should focus on software right now, because the hardware, everything is improving each year, and we can also almost say that it's each month they are improving. But in terms of software, it might not be so optimized yet.
To ensure the best performance from any given machine, the software optimization must be equally important as upgrading hardware. Without having the proper algorithm linked to the hardware via the software, most computers will run substandardly while also allowing for latency, or as gamers call it, lag.
For instance, the way some like Apple product works with the platform, it's very fluid with very minimal usage of the processor. But on an Android, it's a little bit heavier because it's maybe not optimized, something like that. So optimization is quite important on the software side.
With the focus on improving today's software, niche market hardware must not be overlooked, especially when providing services to the public. Many gamers, both professional and amateur, have flocked towards online live streaming platforms as a source of income. The improvement of hardware catering to live streamers will not only help promote the esports industry further, but also create job opportunities for the public.
Now live streaming is easy for the people. So if you focus on this product or this feature, it will help this industry go up very easier and very fast.
Among the key players of the gaming computer industry, Acer Predator Malaysia believes that focusing on thermal solutions will help enhance gameplay for players. According to the tech giant, focusing on their specially patented fan to increase airflow and improve the cooling system of gaming laptops and computers is prioritized for performance.
We always say that thermal comes first, right? So that's why we've invested a lot of R&D in our Predator Aeroblade 3D fan, right? And where we've made it better, we made it stronger, we made it quieter. I think that's one way, the same direction that we're going to continue to invest in terms of the thermal, because on every gaming or performance device, we can call it, right? The heat and the thermal is very, very important, which will improve the performance.
Wanizo Islam for 7Edition.
I'm Shafika Razali. Thanks for watching and have a good weekend.